South America contains some of the richest wildlife communities on Earth. Beneath the Amazon canopy, along tropical coastlines, across flooded wetlands, and high in the Andes, animals have evolved extraordinary ways to hunt, defend themselves, and survive. Some possess venom powerful enough to disrupt the human nervous system. Others rely on crushing jaws, electrical organs, immense strength, or an ability to remain almost invisible until the final moment. Yet the animals that look most intimidating are not always those that create the greatest danger. A jaguar can overpower prey larger than itself, but encounters with people are rare. A tiny insect may appear harmless, yet quietly transmit an infection capable of affecting entire communities. For that reason, this ranking is based on more than appearance. It considers encounter frequency, severity of injury, venom or disease transmission, documented risk, and the likelihood that humans will share the animal's environment. From painful defenders and hidden ambush hunters, to two small creatures whose impact exceeds that of every large predator on the continent, these are 17 of the most dangerous animals in South America, ranked. At number 17, the Amazonian giant centipede. The forest floor of northern South America is a crowded world of fallen leaves, exposed roots, rotting timber, and narrow spaces hidden from daylight. Moving through this concealed landscape is a predator that can approach 30 centimeters in length. The Amazonian giant centipede possesses a flattened, segmented body supported by more than 20 pairs of legs. Near its head are modified limbs called forcipules. These curved structures function like venom-delivering claws, gripping prey while injecting a complex mixture of toxins. Unlike many smaller centipedes, this species is capable of capturing more than insects. It has been observed hunting frogs, lizards, rodents, and even bats. In caves, individuals can hang from stone surfaces, seize flying bats, and hold them while venom takes effect. Human bites usually occur when a centipede is handled, trapped inside clothing, or disturbed beneath timber and building materials. The pain can be intense. Swelling, inflammation, nausea, and other systemic reactions may follow, although fatal outcomes are exceptionally uncommon. Its danger comes from proximity rather than aggression. Giant centipedes sometimes enter houses while searching for shelter or prey, placing their hidden daytime retreats directly beside human activity. Still, most encounters are defensive, and the animal would rather escape than confront something many times its size. Painful though its bite may be, the next animal has transformed a defensive sting into one of the most memorable experiences in the rainforest. Number 16 is the bullet ant. In the lowland forests of Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and Brazil, worker bullet ants patrol tree trunks and vegetation around large colonies. At more than 2 centimeters long, they are among the largest ants in the region, but size alone does not explain their reputation. Each worker carries a powerful stinger at the end of its abdomen. The venom contains ponerotoxin, a peptide that interferes with the normal behavior of nerve cells. The result is severe, persistent pain that may continue for many hours. The bullet ant's famous name comes from descriptions comparing the sting to the sensation of being struck by a projectile. Such comparisons are subjective, but the biological effect is real. Victims may experience burning pain, shaking, sweating, nausea, and temporary weakness around the affected area. These ants are not wandering through the forest in search of humans. They feed largely on nectar and small arthropods, while workers defend their colony against threats. A person brushing against a tree, leaning onto a trunk, or disturbing a nest can suddenly trigger multiple stings. For indigenous communities familiar with these forests, bullet ants are not mysterious monsters. Their behavior, nesting locations, and seasonal activity are understood through generations of observation. In some cultural traditions, their stings have also formed part of demanding initiation ceremonies. The bullet ant ranks relatively low because its sting is rarely fatal. Nevertheless, Few South American animals can produce so much pain with a single defensive action. At number 15, the poison dart frog. Rain settles on the forests of western Colombia, collecting on broad leaves and darkening the ground beneath them. Against this green background, a tiny frog may appear in brilliant yellow, orange, blue, or red. Its color is not camouflage. It is a warning. Poison dart frogs belong to a diverse family, and their toxicity varies enormously. Many species pose little serious threat to humans. A small number, however, produce extraordinarily potent skin secretions, and none is more famous than the golden poison frog of Colombia's Pacific forests. Rather than injecting venom through fangs or a stinger, these frogs carry poisonous alkaloids in glands within their skin. Contact alone is not normally enough to cause severe poisoning through healthy, unbroken skin, but the chemicals become dangerous when they enter the bloodstream, mouth, eyes, or an open wound. The most powerful compounds can interfere with the electrical signals that control muscles and the heart. This creates a remarkable contrast. An animal small enough to rest on a leaf may possess a chemical defense capable of stopping a much larger predator. The frog does not manufacture every component of this chemical arsenal by itself. Scientists believe wild individuals acquire many of their defensive alkaloids from a specialized diet that includes certain ants and other small arthropods. Frogs raised in captivity on a different diet commonly lose much of their toxicity. That distinction matters. Not every colorful frog in the rainforest is lethal, and touching wildlife should be avoided for the animal's protection as much as for human safety. Poison dart frogs face habitat loss, pollution, disease, and illegal collection. Their warning colors evolve to prevent attacks, not to invite human curiosity. Our next contender does not depend on poison at all. Its weapon is generated inside its own body. Number 14 is the electric eel. The name is misleading. Electric eels are not true eels, but elongated freshwater fish related to knife fishes. They inhabit slow-moving rivers, floodplains, streams, and muddy pools across the Amazon and Orinoco basins. In dark or sediment-filled water, eyesight has limited value. Electric eels navigate by producing weak electrical pulses and sensing changes in the surrounding field. This biological detection system helps them locate obstacles, communicate, and identify nearby animals. When hunting or defending themselves, however, they can release far stronger discharges. Specialized cells, called electrocytes, are arranged in electrical organs along much of the body. When activated together, thousands of these cells behave like living batteries connected in sequence. Different electric eel species can generate discharges reaching several hundred volts. Voltage alone does not determine the outcome of a shock, but such pulses can cause pain, involuntary muscle contractions, disorientation, and loss of balance. In shallow water, a large eel may rise partially out of the water and press its body against a threat. This behavior increases the electrical pathway through the target and can make the defensive discharge more effective. A single encounter is unlikely to kill a healthy adult directly. The greater danger is secondary. A person shocked while swimming may become temporarily unable to coordinate their movements, inhale water, or fall from a small boat. Repeated discharges could increase the risk. Electric eels are generally interested in fish, amphibians, and other prey, not humans. Their position reflects the seriousness of an electrical encounter in water, balanced against the relative rarity of such incidents. Number 13 enters the ranking, surrounded by a reputation far larger than its usual behavior: the red-bellied piranha. When dry season waters retreat across parts of the Amazon and adjacent river systems, fish can become concentrated in shrinking pools. Competition intensifies, oxygen levels fall, and animals that normally have space to avoid one another are forced together. This is the environment in which piranhas are most likely to become hazardous. Red-bellied piranhas possess deep bodies, strong jaw muscles, and interlocking triangular teeth capable of slicing flesh. They feed on fish, insects, crustaceans, carrion, and other available food. Some attacks on living prey begin at fins or wounded tissue rather than as a coordinated assault on a large animal. Their cinematic image as fish that instantly reduce any creature to bones is misleading. Most piranhas avoid healthy humans, and millions of people use South American waterways without being attacked. Serious incidents are far less common than popular stories suggest. Risk rises under particular conditions: splashing near fishing activity, entering water where food or blood is present, disturbing spawning areas, or swimming in isolated pools during periods of food scarcity may provoke bites. Most injuries involve a single sudden strike to a toe, finger, or foot. The wound can be deep because the teeth remove tissue cleanly. Multiple attacks are possible, and rare fatal incidents have been reported, sometimes involving victims who were already injured, incapacitated, or dead before extensive feeding occurred. The piranha earns a place in this ranking, but not the position folklore would give it. The greater hazards of South American waters are often larger, quieter, and far less visible. At number 12, the common vampire bat. Night gathers over cattle pastures at the edge of a tropical forest. From hollow trees, caves, abandoned structures, and dark roof spaces, small bats emerge and fly close to the ground. The common vampire bat feeds primarily on the blood of mammals. Heat-sensitive structures around its nose help it locate warm areas where blood flows near the surface. Sharp incisors create a small wound, and anticoagulants in the saliva help keep the blood from clotting while the bat feeds. The amount taken is small, the bite itself may cause little pain, and the animal rarely awakens a large host. The danger comes from what can travel within the saliva. Vampire bats can transmit rabies, a viral disease that attacks the nervous system. Once clinical symptoms develop, rabies is almost always fatal. Rapid wound cleaning and appropriate medical treatment after a suspected exposure are therefore essential. Livestock are the bat's most frequent domestic targets, creating economic losses and providing opportunities for the virus to move among animals. Human infections remain uncommon, but can occur, particularly in remote communities, where people sleep in homes that bats can enter and where access to preventive treatment may be limited. Attempts to control vampire bats can create additional problems when they are indiscriminate. South America contains hundreds of bat species that pollinate plants, disperse seeds, and consume insects. Most never drink blood and pose little danger to people. Even the vampire bat is not a mindless carrier. It has a sophisticated social life. Well-fed individuals may share food with colony members that failed to feed, strengthening long-term relationships within the group. Its position reflects a central theme of this ranking. The smallest wound is not always the smallest threat. Number 11 is the Brazilian wandering spider. After sunset, a large spider moves across the rainforest floor. Unlike web-building species that wait in one location, wandering spiders actively search for insects, frogs, lizards, and other prey. Members of the genus Phonutria are found across parts of tropical South America. Several species can also survive in plantations, gardens, houses, storage areas, and piles of clothing or timber. This adaptability brings them into contact with people. When threatened, a wandering spider may raise the front of its body, extend its first pairs of legs, and expose its fangs. The display is dramatic, but it is defensive. The spider is warning a potential attacker before committing valuable venom. A medically significant bite can produce severe pain, sweating, rapid heart rate, vomiting, muscle effects, and changes in blood pressure. The venom acts on ion channels that help regulate communication between nerves and muscles. Severe cases are uncommon, and effective medical care has greatly reduced the risk of death. Many bites involve limited venom, and some may inject none at all. Children and medically vulnerable individuals are more likely to develop serious complications. The spider's association with banana shipments helped build its international reputation. Wandering spiders may shelter among vegetation or harvested produce, although many large spiders discovered in fruit cargo are harmless species mistakenly identified as Phonutria. For people living within its range, simple precautions reduce risk. Shaking out stored clothing, checking footwear, wearing gloves around debris, and avoiding attempts to capture an unidentified spider by hand. The Brazilian wandering spider possesses formidable venom, but the next arachnid is responsible for a much broader burden of poisoning. At number 10, the Brazilian yellow scorpion. Cities are not separate from nature. They create new ecosystems of concrete, drains, rubbish, insects, walls, and warm concealed spaces. Few dangerous South American animals have adapted to this environment as successfully as the Brazilian yellow scorpion. This relatively small scorpion can live beneath building materials, inside sewer systems, behind household objects, and in cracks within densely populated neighborhoods. Cockroaches and other urban invertebrates provide abundant food. Its reproductive biology strengthens this expansion. Females can reproduce without mating through a process called parthenogenesis. A single transported individual may therefore establish a new population under suitable conditions. The scorpion's venom affects the nervous system, and a sting can cause immediate pain, sweating, nausea, agitation, changes in heart rate, and breathing difficulties. Most adults recover with appropriate care, but severe poisoning can become life-threatening, especially in young children. The danger is intensified by the ease with which scorpions hide. A person may be stung while putting on clothing, moving an object, reaching into a dark space, or walking barefoot indoors at night. Unlike a jaguar or caiman, the yellow scorpion does not require wilderness. It can share a building with hundreds of people while remaining almost completely unseen. Its growing presence in urban areas demonstrates how human-made environments can favor certain wild species. Removing waste, reducing cockroach populations, sealing entry points, and carefully handling stored materials are often more effective than simply killing individual scorpions. At number 9, the South American coral snake. Across leaf litter and forest edges, bands of red, black, yellow, or white move between patches of shadow. This pattern can belong to a true coral snake, but it may also appear on one of several harmless species that imitate its warning colors. Simple color rhymes used to identify coral snakes in North America are unreliable in South America. The continent contains too many species and too much variation. Accurate identification should be left to experts. True coral snakes of the genus Microrus possess relatively small heads and short fixed fangs. They often spend time beneath soil, leaves, or fallen material, feeding on snakes, lizards, and elongated animals that can be pursued through narrow spaces. Their venom is dominated by neurotoxic components. These interfere with communication between nerves and muscles. A serious bite may initially appear less dramatic than a viper bite because local swelling can be limited, yet weakness and paralysis may develop as the venom spreads. Breathing becomes the critical concern when muscles controlling respiration can no longer function normally. Medical observation is essential because early symptoms do not always reveal the eventual severity. Fortunately, coral snakes are generally secretive and reluctant to bite. Their mouths are small, and many incidents occur when someone handles or steps directly on one. Documented bites are much less frequent than those caused by pit vipers. The coral snake ranks below several vipers not because its venom is weak, but because human contact is less common. Danger depends not only on biological power, but on the opportunity to deliver it. Number 8 is the South American bushmaster. Deep within humid forests lives the longest venomous snake in the Western Hemisphere. A large bushmaster may exceed 3 meters, although most are smaller. Its patterned body disappears remarkably well against dead leaves and broken forest light. Bushmasters are pit vipers, Heat-sensitive pits between the eyes and nostrils help detect warm-blooded prey in darkness. Rather than actively chasing a rodent through dense vegetation, the snake may wait beside a route used repeatedly by small mammals. Its stillness is part of its power. A bushmaster can remain concealed for long periods before striking with speed and delivering venom through long, hinged fangs. The venom can disrupt blood clotting, damage tissue, reduce blood pressure, and produce severe systemic illness. Because the snake is large, it may deliver a substantial quantity. Untreated envenomation can be fatal. Yet bushmaster bites are rare. The species lives mainly in forested environments and usually avoids human disturbance. Many people within its broad range will never see one, even where the snake is present. Bushmasters are also unusual among New World vipers because they lay eggs rather than giving birth to live young. The female may remain coiled around the clutch, guarding it during development. Deforestation can produce a dangerous meeting point. As roads, farms, and settlements enter forest habitat, workers encounter animals that were once separated from frequent human activity. At the same time, habitat loss threatens the snakes themselves. The bushmaster's venom and size justify its position, but rarity keeps it below a more widespread viper of open landscapes. At number 7, the South American rattlesnake. A dry grassland can appear empty until movement stops. Beneath low vegetation, a patterned snake lies almost perfectly matched to the soil. At the end of its tail, interlocking keratin segments form one of nature's most recognizable warning systems. The South American rattlesnake occurs across open and seasonally dry habitats in several countries. Unlike many rainforest vipers, it is associated with savannas, scrublands, grasslands, and agricultural regions. When threatened, the snake may vibrate its tail, causing the rattle's hollow segments to strike one another. The sound is not an announcement of aggression, it is an attempt to prevent a large animal from coming closer. Its venom can produce neurological effects, muscle damage, and disturbances in blood clotting. Victims may develop weakness, drooping eyelids, blurred vision, dark urine from muscle breakdown, and potentially dangerous kidney complications. Local pain and swelling may be less dramatic than expected, which can create a false sense of security. The absence of a severely swollen limb does not mean the venom is harmless. Agricultural activity increases exposure. Farm workers may encounter rattlesnakes while walking through grass, moving equipment, harvesting crops, or working after dark. Boots, lighting, and rapid access to medical care significantly reduce the risk. Rattlesnakes also control rodent populations and form part of the ecological balance of open South American landscapes. Their warning rattle gives humans an opportunity many dangerous animals do not provide. The next contender offers almost no warning at all. Number 6 is the green anaconda. In the flooded forests, marshes, channels, and slow rivers of tropical South America, floating vegetation can conceal a snake of extraordinary mass. The green anaconda is the heaviest living snake and one of the continent's most powerful ambush predators. Females grow substantially larger than males. Exceptionally large individuals may exceed 5 meters, although exaggerated claims of 8, 10, or even more meters rarely survive careful verification. The anaconda's nostrils and eyes sit high on its head, allowing it to breathe and observe, while most of its body remains underwater. Its dark olive pattern blends with vegetation, mud, and reflected light. When prey approaches, the snake strikes, anchors itself with recurved teeth, and coils around the body. Constriction does not usually crush bones. Instead, mounting pressure interferes with blood circulation, causing the prey to lose consciousness rapidly. Anacondas feed on fish, turtles, birds, capybaras, caimans, and other animals they can overpower. Large meals may sustain a snake for weeks or longer. Their size makes them physically capable of killing a human, but verified predatory attacks are extremely rare. People are difficult prey, and anacondas usually retreat when detected. Many dramatic stories rely on unconfirmed measurements or second-hand accounts. The greater risk occurs when a large snake is cornered, captured, or handled. Powerful coils, sharp teeth, and deep water create a dangerous combination, even without an attempt to feed. The anaconda ranks highly because of what it is capable of doing, but it remains below predators with stronger evidence of dangerous encounters. At number 5, the jaguar. A low shape moves between trees beside a river. Rosettes break apart its outline, and its paws touch the ground with almost no sound. In much of South America, this is the largest native cat and the dominant terrestrial predator. Jaguars are built differently from cheetahs or lightly framed leopards. Their bodies are compact and muscular, with broad heads and exceptionally strong jaws. They can kill prey with a bite through the skull or shell, a technique suited to animals such as caimans and turtles. Water is not a barrier. Jaguars swim readily, hunt along riverbanks, and may drag heavy prey through dense vegetation. Their diet can include deer, peccaries, capybaras, reptiles, fish, and livestock, where wild prey has declined. A jaguar is unquestionably capable of killing a person, yet attacks remain rare compared with the number of humans living and working within the species' range. Most jaguars avoid people, often detecting them long before they are seen. Danger increases when an animal is wounded, cornered, accustomed to human food, defending a kill, or living where habitat loss has compressed wildlife and human activity into the same narrow area. Conflict with ranchers creates a greater threat to jaguars than jaguars create for humans. When cattle replace natural prey near fragmented forests, a cat may begin hunting livestock and be killed in retaliation. The jaguar's position is based on physical capability and the severity of a close encounter, not on exaggerated claims of routine man-eating. South America's most powerful cat is dangerous, but it is not the continent's most consistent killer. Number 4 waits in the water, the black caiman. After sunset, the surface of an Amazonian lake becomes a sheet of darkness. A narrow beam of light may reveal 2 reflective eyes, followed by the outline of a broad head. The rest of the animal remains submerged. The black caiman is the largest predator in the Amazon basin. Exceptional males can grow beyond 4 meters, with the largest individuals becoming considerably longer. Their dark coloration provides camouflage in deep or shadowed water. Like other crocodilians, black caimans are ambush hunters. They wait near shorelines, floating vegetation, channels, and places where animals enter the water. A sudden acceleration closes the distance before prey can react. The jaws are designed to grip rather than chew. Once caught, prey may be dragged underwater. A caiman can also rotate its body in the water, using the movement to tear apart food that cannot be swallowed whole. Fish form an important part of the diet, but large adults can capture capybaras, peccaries, deer, and other reptiles. Human beings entering caiman habitat are within the size range of possible prey. Fatal attacks have occurred, particularly in remote waterways where people fish, bathe, collect water, or travel in small boats. The true number is difficult to establish because incidents in isolated areas may never be formally documented. Black caimans do not automatically attack every person near the water. Risk depends on animal size, visibility, local behavior, food availability, and the way people use the habitat. Nevertheless, a large crocodilian can remain invisible only meters away, giving it a dangerous advantage over any terrestrial predator. The top 3, however, affect humans on a much wider scale. At number 3, the common lancehead. Rain falls onto a forest path, and a brown pattern lies motionless beside the roots. To an inexperienced observer, it may look like another layer of wet leaves. The common lancehead, Bothrops atrox, is widespread across much of northern South America and the Amazon basin. Related Bothrops species occupy forests, farms, plantations, settlements, and disturbed habitats across the continent. These snakes possess broad triangular heads, heat-sensitive pits, and hinged fangs that fold against the roof of the mouth. When they strike, the fangs rotate forward and inject venom deep into tissue. Bothrops venom is chemically complex. It can cause intense swelling, bleeding, blistering, tissue damage, and disruption of normal blood clotting. Severe cases may lead to shock, kidney injury, permanent disability, or death. The danger is not based on toxicity alone. Lanceheads are common, well camouflaged, active near the ground, and frequently encountered by people working in rural environments. Many bites occur on feet and lower legs when someone steps close to a concealed snake. Farmers, forest workers, indigenous communities, and residents far from hospitals face the greatest risk. A bite that can be treated successfully in a city becomes far more dangerous when the victim must travel for hours by river or unpaved road. In Brazil, Bothrops species are responsible for the large majority of medically important snake bites. Antivenom is effective, but treatment must be matched to the correct type of envenomation and delivered without unnecessary delay. The lancehead is not hunting humans. Its strike is usually a rapid defensive response from an animal whose camouflage has failed at the final second. No large predator combines encounter frequency, medical impact, and geographic reach as effectively. Yet even this snake is surpassed by two insects, whose danger may remain invisible for years. At number 2, the kissing bug. In rural homes across parts of South America, a blood-feeding insect may emerge after dark. Drawn by warmth and carbon dioxide, it approaches a sleeping person and feeds, often near the face. Triatamine insects are commonly called kissing bugs. The bite itself is usually not the primary danger. The real threat may be deposited moments later. Some kissing bugs carry the parasite Trypanosoma cruzi, which causes Chagas disease. While feeding, an infected insect may defecate close to the bite. Scratching or rubbing can move parasite-containing material into the wound, eyes, or mouth. The initial infection may produce fever, fatigue, swelling, or no obvious symptoms at all. This quiet beginning makes the disease especially dangerous. A person may feel healthy and remain unaware of the infection. Years or even decades later, chronic Chagas disease can damage the heart, digestive system, or nervous system. Heart rhythm abnormalities, progressive heart failure, and other serious complications may develop long after the original insect encounter has been forgotten. Transmission is not limited to the insect route. The parasite can also spread through contaminated food, blood transfusion, organ transplantation, or from an infected mother to her baby. Improved screening and public health measures have reduced some of these pathways. Housing conditions strongly influence risk. Cracks in mud walls, thatched roofs, domestic animal shelters, and spaces where insects can hide may allow triatamines to establish themselves near sleeping areas. Better construction, insect control, testing, and early treatment have protected many communities. Wild triatamines also belong to natural ecosystems and feed on a range of mammals. The public health problem emerges when vectors, parasite reservoirs, domestic animals, and humans are brought into close contact. The kissing bug ranks second because its effect is measured not by the pain of one encounter, but by a chronic disease distributed across generations and borders. Yet one animal spreads a broader collection of dangerous pathogens and affects more people across South America than any other. Number 1 is the mosquito. At dawn in a tropical city, water rests inside an uncovered container. On its surface, mosquito larvae rise to breathe. In only a small volume of water, the next generation is already developing beside thousands of human hosts. South America contains many mosquito species, and most do not transmit the same diseases. The greatest danger comes from particular species capable of carrying parasites or viruses between susceptible hosts. Aedes aegypti thrives around people. It breeds in artificial containers, enters homes, and often bites during daylight. It can transmit dengue, yellow fever, Zika, and chikungunya. Anopheles mosquitoes, especially in parts of the Amazon region, can transmit the parasites responsible for malaria. Other mosquito species take part in complex forest transmission cycles involving birds, primates, and additional wildlife. Only female mosquitoes take blood meals, using protein from blood to develop their eggs. Their mouthparts pierce the skin, while saliva enters the wound. If that saliva contains a pathogen capable of infecting humans, an almost unnoticed bite can become the beginning of serious illness. Dengue may cause fever, severe pain, nausea, and exhaustion. A small proportion of patients develop severe disease involving bleeding, organ impairment, or dangerous fluid loss. Repeated exposure to different dengue virus types can complicate the immune response. Yellow fever can damage the liver and other organs. Vaccination provides powerful protection, but forest transmission cycles cannot simply be eliminated because the virus circulates naturally between mosquitoes and non-human primates. Malaria parasites invade the liver and red blood cells, producing recurring fever, anemia, and potentially severe complications. Remote Amazonian communities, miners, forest workers, migrants, and people with limited access to diagnosis may face heightened risk. Zika usually causes mild illness in many adults, but infection during pregnancy can harm fetal development. Chikungunya rarely causes death, yet the joint pain may persist for months or longer, leaving some patients unable to resume normal work. No venomous snake, jaguar, caiman, or giant constrictor can match that reach. The mosquito's success comes from a combination of biology and opportunity. Rapid reproduction, small size, human transport, warm climates, standing water, urban crowding, and changing environmental conditions allow certain species to expand. Mosquito danger is also indirect. The insect does not become more powerful, larger, or more aggressive. It becomes a vehicle through which microscopic organisms travel from one host to another. That makes prevention a battle fought on many levels. Vaccination protects against yellow fever. Bed nets and screened buildings reduce contact with night-biting species. Removing standing water limits breeding sites for container-dwelling mosquitoes. Public health surveillance detects outbreaks, while rapid testing and medical care reduce their consequences. The mosquito earns the #1 position because danger is not always announced by a roar, a rattle, bright warning colors, or eyes reflecting above dark water. Sometimes, it arrives on nearly silent wings. South America's most dangerous animals reveal that risk cannot be measured by size alone. The heaviest snake is rarely responsible for human deaths. The continent's strongest cat generally avoids us. Some of the most feared animals attack only when surprised or cornered. The greatest danger often appears where wildlife biology, infectious disease, poverty, land use, and human behavior intersect. Understanding these animals does not require treating them as villains. Each is following an evolutionary path shaped long before modern cities, farms, roads, and settlements entered its habitat. Respecting that reality allows people to replace fear with knowledge. It helps communities prevent bites, protect homes, reach medical treatment sooner, conserve predators, and reduce conflict without destroying the ecosystems on which both wildlife and humans depend. In South America, survival belongs not simply to the strongest animal, but to the one best adapted to its world. And sometimes, the smallest animal casts the longest shadow,